today the Undertaker responded to Hulk Hogan getting booed at the other day on the Netflix show, and it's pretty good, man. Undertaker's podcast sometimes, like, they go all over the place sometimes, but there's a lot of gems in there and good stuff on 6 Feet Under podcast with the Undertaker. This is good.
All right.
Come on.
Welcome back to that pop was some Hogan. Hogan returned.
Here we go. Here we go.
Now, you know they've talked about this off the air where, you know, they're willing to say things they probably aren't saying on this podcast.
You know,
Come on. Welcome back to
that pop was something.
It was something.
It was a pop.
It was. That was an ego pop.
Lord have mercy.
It was an ego pop. It's in my mind, brother.
Do you think he went back to the dress? Well, you were there.
I was there.
What happened? What happened backstage after he came back?
No, when I saw him, he was no selling it and pushing his beer.
Nothing happened, brother. Want to buy my beer? Undertaker got a beer too. A lot of people have a beer. I gotta get a beer. What would my beer be? Cronin's beer.
I didn't see him. I wasn't backstage when he came.
Did you feel like giving him a hug afterwards?
No.
Here's
No.
Taker being a company man right now.
Did you feel bad for him? No.
Well, hey man, I got feelings. I got feelings for people. Like, sometimes in life, things come back.
Things come back. Oh my God. As in he deserved it. That's crazy. A lot of people still debating about the whole Undertaker Hogan thing. Why isn't Undertaker getting booed like Hulk Hogan? It's like, do you really have to ask that question at this point? I don't understand why you have to ask that. And you know, I saw some dumb YouTuber the other day, and he's a big YouTuber. He's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, more than me. And he was like, "Oh, you know, it's just that people haven't figured out yet that the Undertaker's a Republican." It's like, what an idiot. Hulk Hogan is not getting booed because he's a Republican. Yeah, that's like a part of it, but it's mostly from the, you know, just his ego over the years, the way he acts, his lies, the N-word stuff, all that stuff rolled up into one is why Hulk Hogan is getting booed. That's why Undertaker's not getting booed. People know Undertaker's a Republican. They know he had Trump on his podcast, and people know that. But this idiot was like, they just haven't figured it out yet. No, what are you talking about? And what does it matter if you do figure it out? What kind of stupid people are these? Oh, the Undertaker voted Republican, so now everything he did is obsolete. I hate him. Well, if you're like that, you're a loser person. Like, you're a dumb person if you think like that. You are a dumb loser person. So this podcast host guy, and he's supposedly this big guy, what a moron, idiot. People just haven't figured it out yet. Have you guys figured out yet that Undertaker had 1 million views on his podcast with Trump? Did you know that? Fucking idiot. But anyway, thought that was funny. Basically, the Undertaker was trying to say, like, hey, man, couldn't have happened to a better guy, you know? This guy's been such an egomaniac, psycho, kind of crappy person forever. So watch him go out there and get booed was kind of gave me a tickle in my belly. Like, that's what I got on. But Undertaker can't really say that, but that's what he's saying. Like, listen, this guy, it's about time he got knocked down a peg. I'm not really as much of that. I feel bad for people when things happen. But then again, I don't know the extent fully of how horrific Hulk Hogan might be. I grew up a Hulkamaniac. I love Hogan as the character, and if I saw Hogan, I'd mark out, you know. I really like Hogan. I grew up loving him. I wouldn't be watching this, doing any of this right now if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. So I think it's important to distinguish between Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea, and I do. I just think it was a bad spot to put him out there. I think he was going to get kind of grunts anyway. People were like, really, we're going to Hogan? And that's a mindset that's going on out there. I mean, maybe not from me and people my age and above. Like 40 and up might still love Hogan, might still give Hogan love. But people in their 30s are sick of it, and people in their 20s don't even know him, and they don't care. So it's just one of those things. But The Undertaker has transcended so many different generations that even though Hulk Hogan was the bigger star at points, in the 80s and early 90s for sure, and, you could argue, I think The Undertaker eventually over time, The Undertaker became that big or close to that. But The Undertaker's longevity of being a top attraction and being a legend at some point, it's just, both careers are amazing and in two different ways. Probably Hulk Hogan was like the bigger name star, drew the most money, drew everything, blah, 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 right? That's Hogan. You can't take that away. He's number one. He beats out Undertaker. But Undertaker's longevity over time and drawing power over time and likability over time and sustainability over time and his presence even to this day, that's impressive because the stars of Hogan and even Stone, The Rock, Stone Cold and stuff like that, although Austin is maybe still as hot as ever almost. It's very crazy how hot Austin is. And even The Rock. But Hogan's definitely faded. Hogan's star has faded over time. People started to get a little sick of Hogan in the early 90s. And then by the mid-90s for sure. And then he came back with a resurgence and came back again. But he's always kind of fading back down again. So while he was the biggest star for anywhere in wrestling for 10 years, his star has faded down a little bit over the years, whereas Undertaker's slowly kind of rose with this legendary status. It's very interesting to break that down and to get into that, the nitty-gritty of all that. But I think that's a great clip of Undertaker. Great stuff. I'll be honest, he's got a hit-or-miss podcast. You could listen to a podcast sometimes and be like, what the hell was going on here? You could listen another time, and it's full of gems and amazing, great stuff. But guys are just having fun over there either way. It's worth being subbed and listening to on Spotify and YouTube. And I think they've figured out a lot of things on the podcast and gotten so much better at it over the years. So I still think it's a little bit hit or miss, but there's always a couple of gems in there somewhere with Taker. And so it's something that, I would definitely recommend listening to. Now, a bunch of news just came out, and I just talked about it in a different video. So, guys, if you missed that video, go back, watch my other videos from earlier today. Of course, I talked about the Charlotte Flair divorce thing. Some people think that's fake, that it's not real. This is another one of those fake divorces so that, people won't think that they're a couple together and whatever else. If they're on the same show together, though, in WWE, that kind of gives it away. But at the same time, maybe they'd move them anyway. But why would you go to such, the depths to pretend that they're not together and fake a divorce? I just don't buy that. I know some people are saying that, and there's a rumor that it's a fake divorce. Maybe it is, but I'm going to believe it for now. I don't know why you would fake that. It seems dumb to me. But maybe there's storylines coming up that they want to get into, and they feel like they'll be weakened by their relationship. And at the same time, the couple wants to kind of separate that anyway, so they fake a divorce, leak it out everywhere so everybody talks about it, and then kind of keep quiet. But then what's the point? Because then if they're ever hanging out anywhere or going out to eat anywhere, and some wrestling fan spots them anywhere, there's going to be a picture. Charlotte and Andrade have dinner. Charlotte and Andrade caught together, seen together, talking together, kisses exchanged. How are you going to keep that secret? So what the hell would the point in that being fake? So I got to believe it's a real thing. It's really happening. And based on Daddy, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But it's sad anyway when people break up. I can't imagine in your late 30s breaking up with someone. I thought my life was over when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend a long time ago when I was like 22. So, hey, man, I don't know. All the best. And 38, that clock's ticking. Maybe she's not having kids. I don't know. Maybe that's what broke them up. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that. I just did kind of, but whatever. Leave it in the comments down below. I'll be reading them and making a follow-up video later on. And if you want to support the channel, please check out my description pin stuff down below. All the ways you can support me, the channel, and help me try to keep doing this and also get funded and get this thing going. It's up to you. I'll see you guys later.